Alright, welcome back everyone, and let us head underground to the mines and go after Armored Armadillo. He is a difficult boss-ish to take on without his weapon. He's definitely one of the without his weakness, sorry. He's definitely one of the harder ones. But if you can get the pattern down, he's not too bad, and the electric spark is going to make him much easier to deal with. This is a fantastic spot to fill your sub-tanks up because there's so many bats. So I'll be coming back here later for sure. Whoa! Physics. I was supposed to jump off of that a little bit earlier to not almost fall in the pit, but it's fine. This stage in general is a really good place to fill up your sub-tanks because there's so many of these bat enemies that almost always drop health or weapon energy or some power-up like that. That is an instant kill if he hits you with those spikes, so don't touch. But there's a sub-tank behind him, sorry. I was thinking Classic Series for a second. There's a sub-tank behind him, so it's worth letting him go past and coming back for that. Stupid metals. I don't like metals. This guy's also kind of destroying some of the terrain as he goes along, but it's not a big deal in this section unless you really want those two big health pickups, which I don't care about too much. But it is going to be important in a couple sections, at least one section later on. And I totally mistimed that and almost fell on the spikes. Good job, me. The stage, unfortunately, does have some issues with lag, especially when you're on these minecarts, because there's often, like, 10 enemies on screen at once. Okay, maybe not 10, but still, there's a lot for the Super Nintendo to handle. I do like watching the little double helixes kind of fly along, though. Some nice momentum off of the minecart there. This is where you want to be careful to go in front of the little bulldozer guy, because if you let him get too far, which I'll go ahead and wait for him. But like I said, he's tearing up the terrain as he goes, and if you let him get far enough to destroy this piece of block, then obviously you can't reach the heart tank. But it's not too much of a danger to just slide down in front and sneak in front of him. One last minecart ride, which I'm getting hit by literally everything possible on. And I'm going to grab this health pickup here. I'll be coming back here for something later, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So, Armored Armadillo, I'll actually demonstrate something, because it's actually kind of neat. Kind of a neat mechanic, if annoying. He likes to block your shots, but first of all, he's gonna start bouncing around, which is actually not too hard to avoid. I actually hit him there. But if you fire at him and actually let him block your shot, he will then fire it back at you, which is actually a pretty neat thing. Though it makes it very difficult to actually fight him. But the electric spark just knocks his armor off of him anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh, jeez, I messed up the pattern. Crap. Okay, hold on. I totally got lost on his pattern there. Basically, the best way I can describe the way his pattern works is you want to start by climbing to the top of the wall, and then after he bounces off the wall that you're clinging to, drop down, and when he bounces off the wall that you're clinging to a second time, climb back up to the top and just keep alternating that. It's easier to do than explain, and I didn't do a very good job of it because I wasn't paying attention. But if you keep doing that consistently, then you will consistently avoid his rolling every time, no matter how long he does it for. He gives us the rolling shield and a very pink coat of paint. I never realized how bright pink that was. Wow. That's like neon. But he gives you the rolling shield, which is a pretty crummy weapon just if you fire it, but the charged version... The charged version is extremely useful. It's, the rolling shield is actually Launch Octopus's weakness, but I'm not going to be using it against Launch Octopus, because It's kind of sucks. But I'll just use the Storm Tornado to blow through some more of these big turtle guys, just to make it go a little faster. And like any good Mega Man game, it has the usual water physics, where you jump higher, like you're in zero gravity, or low gravity, rather. I don't know why, because I'm made of metal, so you would think it would be the opposite. But then I have to deal with this... We have to deal with 2 of these stupid fish mini-bosses. For whatever reason, Storm Tornado is not very effective against them. And this guy's not too bad to deal with, because you can just sit here and keep pressing the button over and over again, and he won't really be much of a threat. Lots of stuff for my sub-tank there. It's the next guy that's going to be difficult to deal with. Those fish will just kind of suck you in. So this is where I'm actually going to make use of Electric Spark. I don't know why it works, but I'm certainly not complaining. You have to be very careful not to get sucked onto the spikes with this guy. But Electric Spark makes really quick work of him and means you shouldn't have to deal with more than 1 or 2 cycles of his sucking and blowing. Yeah, just gonna leave it at that. Storm Tornado will, however, take this little boat out in 1 hit. Ow. Which is going to open up a secret path down to another mini-boss. This episode is, or this level, rather, is Miniboss City. Which has a sea dragon. Which is making silly noises. I don't think it used to make that noise on my particular game cartridge. But there you go, it makes squeaky noises when you kill it. And for killing it, we get another heart tank. So we're now in much better shape than we were at the start of the game. I'm pretty much just going to stay with Storm Tornado for the rest of this stage, because we've got 1 more of these Sea Dragon mini-bosses coming up right here. Except this one's hiding underground, so we gotta wait for it to come out first. Wherever it is. There it is. This one's not making squeaky noises. Oh, there it is. Yeah, literally 1 or 2 Storm Tornadoes and those things are done. They're so easy to take out. You can ride around on their backs if you really want to. As long as you don't touch the head and the tail. Which also can be fun if you want to just screw around and ride them around the ocean for a while. So here's Launch Octopus. The issue with using the rolling shield against him is he's going to be shooting torpedoes at us constantly, and like that. And the rolling shield just kind of gets neutralized by the torpedoes, so more often than not I just end up running out of weapon energy before the fight even ends. And it kind of sucks. But he's actually really easy to just stand and shoot at, as long as you're careful to dodge this little whirlpool move. If he catches you with that, he will steal your health, which sucks. But it's fairly easy to dash away from, and all of his other attacks really only do 1 or 2 damage. He's being a particular pain in the ass and continually using the homing fish move. It's preferable if he uses the torpedoes, because I can just shoot those out of the way. Yeah, he's being a real punk. See, if he just keeps firing torpedoes at him, you can literally just keep shooting and nothing bad will happen to you. Yeah, more of that, please. No, more fish. I've got sub-tanks if I really need them. There's the same weapon that can cut off... Oh, come on. The same weapon that can cut off Flame Mammoth's trunk can also cut off this guy's... Oops, that was a bad dash on my part. You can also cut off this guy's tentacles, which just makes him not only look really funny, because he looks like just a kid with a big head wearing jeans. It also means that the only attacks he can do are fire torpedoes and jump at you, and I'm going to use a sub-tank just to be safe. I'll just use this half one. Just because I don't want to have to do all this over again. My hand's getting tired. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah, I didn't really need the sub-tank, but I figured better safe than sorry. Yeah, he takes a long time if you do it that way, but like I said, his weakness I've always found pretty hard to actually land a hit on him with. It's sort of a little easier if you jump and fire it at him, but it's still kind of a pain. He gives us the Horming Torpedo. Nice typo there. Which I never really use, maybe one or two places. It's good for taking out bats, if anything, because it'll home in on them before they can actually start flying at you. And it's the weakness of this boss coming up as well. So this is Boomer Quanger. Apparently, Quanger is Japanese for stag beetle. I think he's a stag beetle. And his stage is going to be one big vertical stage, and I am going to be abusing the heck out of the rolling shield for this level. First of all, if we do a very careful dash jump there, we can avoid having to fight that little shield guy. Same thing over there. And I'm going to charge up a rolling shield here. And as long as I don't touch... In essence, if I touch something that the shield can't take out in one hit, if I were to, like, normally fire it, then it'll go away. If not, then it just stays there and absorbs hits for me. A lot of the enemies in this stage are really weak, so we can make a ton of use of the charged up rolling shield. Obviously, these turtle guys, not so much, but like this elevator ride coming up, all of these enemies, if I were to just fire rolling shields at them, they would die in one hit. These enemies right here. So I can just kind of turn the shield on and take a nice leisurely ride up the elevator. I do have to be careful not to get hit by these spikes, but it's really not that difficult. And this certainly beats having to dodge around and try to shoot these flying things as you're also avoiding the spikes, so that's nice. All of the enemies out here are also extraordinarily weak. These little turrets coming out of the walls, these lizards. So I'm just gonna ignore every single one of them and just kind of blow through it. Obviously, this is not the fastest way to do this, but it's fine. I said I've been playing the game for years. I didn't say I could speedrun it. I am absolutely not a speedrunner. This heart tank is a little tricky to get, but we can still manage it. So, I actually need the shotgun ice for this. And what I'm gonna do... I'm gonna charge up the shotgun ice and stand on the edge of its head, and basically just use that to carry me out so I can reach the platform. You can get up there with a very precise pixel-perfect dash jump, but that's easier. The other way to get that item is to just come back with the weapon we're going to get from this boss, but that necessitates playing basically the entire stage over again, and that's stupid. This is where I can kind of make decent use of some of the properties, if I can aim, of the shotgun ice, the way it bounces off walls. It's kind of fun. It's not super helpful, but it's fun. So Boomer Quanger is pretty easy to fight with his weakness. He's pretty annoying if you don't have it, because he teleports all over the place and likes to throw you into the ceiling. But with his weakness, I'm literally just gonna hide on the wall and keep firing at him, and there won't be a lot he can do about it. As you can see, he's teleporting back and forth, which is really annoying to deal with. But I'm just gonna keep firing torpedoes at him. That's the only attack he can actually hit me with while I'm up here, and I think it does maybe 2 damage. So I'm going to no matter how many times he does it, I'm going to far out damage him as long as I just keep firing. But that makes one more boss down, and I think we've only got one left at this point. If I'm counting correctly, we should only have Sting Chameleon left. So he gives us the Boomerang Cutter, which isn't a great weapon for attacking things. It's got got a very broad arc, and it doesn't do a ton of damage, but it's great for it can actually pick up items, which I'm going to be making use of in the next episode, when we will take on Sting Chameleon and then also go gather up the rest of the items. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.